Welcome to round 2 of the South African Rotax Max Challenge here in Benoni Formula K. It is a great day out in Benoni, sunny as you like, and plenty of racing action to look forward to. We've got the best of the best in South Africa descending upon the shores of Benoni.
Seems like you had a cracker start today. Tell us about it.
Yeah, yesterday really well. It went really well. We had good pace throughout all the sessions, and then everybody got a little bit closer as the day went on. This morning managed to put it on pole, so really happy with that and looking forward to a good day's racing.
And who's the guys out there giving you a run for your money?
Basically everybody in the class is right there. Nick, Michael, Jono, everybody's going to be there. With the slipstream here as well, I think it's going to be very tight, very close, so we'll see how the racing goes.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about the track. Have you driven here?
Yes, yeah, we had, it's not too far from our home here, so we did the regional a few weeks ago here, and the racing was extremely tight, so yeah, just have to keep it clean and go from there.
And how did it go out this morning?
Yeah, no, it's tough out there. A little bit better than yesterday's practice. Enjoyed it a lot more in qualifying now. It's going to be tight out there. Track's very, very difficult. Yeah, looking forward to it.
And have you driven on this track a lot? Used to it?
Yes, we've actually been doing quite a bit of laps here. We live not too far from here. We're not used to the track being so grippy. All the out-of-town competitors laying down the rubber, so the lap times are way faster than what we're used to. So it's basically, yeah, we know the lines, but the track is like new. Yeah.
How's it out there? A bit slippery, I believe.
No, it was actually probably the grippiest session I've been at. Obviously, I didn't run new tyres yesterday, so qualifying was the first time I went on new tyres, and pretty good. Qualified second just behind Eugene, so well done to him. But yeah, it's been a bit more challenging this weekend. Track I haven't been to before, and I had one day to get on top of everything, and yeah, we're close. We just done 10th off, so hopefully we can pull it back in the race.
Let's see what they're going to be able to do. Michael Stephen trying to line up in the pits. He was busy talking of how can he get one up on Eugene Brits as the race is on. And looks like there's Jonathan Patrice looking up the inside, gets a little bit of contact, trying to make his way around. Stephen just trying to keep it all together. Brits just holding it in first place as they make their way around turn 1 to turn 3 at this point. Really battling their way, trying to climb up to the top. Nicholas Verheul also just fighting his way as they make their way around. Michael Stephen currently leading out. He's got Eugene Brits right behind him, putting a lot of pressure onto the back of him. And you can just see how Michael is trying to keep it all together. As you got a little bit further down the field, and that looks to be 169. That is Jonathan Patrice, who's got a lot of pressure put on the back of him by Andrew Thomas. Jonathan Peterson is really having a great time. With Peterson, Jonathan Peterson really putting on a great show. Starting to open up a bit of a gap. Andrew Thomas trying to keep it all together as well. A little bit of sideways action from Andrew as just pushing that a little bit too hard as we go back up to the front. Stephen really pushing as hard as he can as he's got around Brits and is now on the hard charge. Let's see how he will be able to keep it together as they make their way around the circuit. But he'll really trying to get onto the back of them. He wants to get back onto that train and does so. So now Brits has to go on a little bit of a defense while trying to attack. Stephen goes on the outside. And you can just see Brits really pushing hard. Late on the brakes. Will he be able to make it stick? Does. Verheul moving up. So Verheul going and taking the opportunity. Stephen going on the defense. And now Verheul just saying thank you very much for that door. And it moves up, looks to try to go on the inside. Stephen trying to hold him back as much as possible. Verheul doing everything he can. Really pushing his way to the top. Jonathan Peterson really trying to get back onto that train as well. Currently is the fastest, so Jonathan's really pushing as hard as he can. He's the quickest of the top 4. And let's see, will he be able to get into that train and pull himself along as they make their way around the circuit? Brits just trying everything he can. Lost out that position. Stephen just going on a massive defense at the moment as they battle their way around Formula K. You can just see big look up the inside. Brits managing to retake that second place. Verheul losing out once again. So Verheul trying to go that little bit more into the corner, went a little bit wide, opened the door, and that's just allowed Brits to just go right up there and charging up for Stephen right behind them. Peterson really pushing as hard as he can to get up.
Yeah, if anyone has a notebook nearby, you'd want to maximize your chance to be writing. A lot of the most experienced people we've seen come and go in the karting circuit. Michael Stephen, decades of experience. Eugene Brits, very much similar. Nicholas Verheul, Jonathan Peterson, very, very experienced people. Alan, what was this?
That's Andrew
Michael,
Thomas.
yes, Andrew Thomas, that's correct. I nearly said Alan Thompson, because I ran into Delon Thompson on the way to the gents, and he seemed pretty chilled, not too upset about the argy-bargy between him and Jason, because there comes with the territory. I think he'd be able to get back up and running in Heat 2. But as it stands, yes, the top three looks like Michael Stephen. Not a very unfamiliar thing to say. Michael Stephen in the lead, Eugene Brits, as well as Nick Verheul, hot on their heels.
Nick's got a bit of pressure as he's got Jonathan right behind him. You can see Jonathan through the corners, closes up, but just doesn't seem to have the pace going onto the straight. So can break that a little bit later, but just can't get the pace into Nicholas. So we'll have to see if you'll be able to try and carry the momentum heading into turn 1 and hard braking into turn number 2.
Yes, let's see if the weight of the kart comes into his advantage there, as a lot of the time your technique kind of varies. I mean, it's quite early on for him to be doing such hard braking, I would say. But I'd imagine then his brake bias might be strong at the rear. Naturally, you may want it to be strong at the rear. But given how you've got a lot of downhill here, you need a decent front. You need quite a strong front, especially if you're going to be diving as aggressively as he is at the moment. Curious to see how it materializes.
Now, with Michael Stephen obviously being in the front,
Yeah.
what would be the right strategy or a strategy to employ to keep up that pace and try and carry as much speed as possible, considering you got the likes of Brits who's using the slipstream and getting pulled along?
The thing is, with Michael Stephen, he would firstly have to know where his disadvantage is, and it seems at the moment to be in the tighter stuff. Down the straight, he seems a bit more stable. Eugene Brits has the ascendancy on him as they go into the corners, but they're pretty much matched for pace. So in my mind, I think Michael Stephen would be wary not to leave too much room for Eugene Brits to dive down the inside, but at the same time, he'd want also to pick up the pace, give it a sort of qualifying edge, especially to the last 3 laps of the race, which very much is able to do, because it does seem he hasn't been throwing his kart around. Seems very stable, doesn't seem to be too aggressive, not even looking over his shoulder, so I think he might dial it up a bit in the last 3 laps, depending on how aggressive Eugene Brits is.
Absolutely. Eugene constantly pressurizing, looking for just that one little gap. Nicholas having a bit of a battle with Jonathan a bit further back. Jonathan also putting the pressure on.
Oh, there's a move. Eugene Brits' aggression manifests immediately. Sorry to cut you off there, Steve, but wow, how quickly that happened. As you are asking what Michael's going to do, let's see what his response is.
Absolutely. Eugene just going and sneaking up the inside. Very, very clean pass. Actually, the cleanest we've seen so far.
It was like in slow motion. It looked like it was in slow motion. It was you're right, it was very clean. But again, the experience, Michael Stephen answers back. There you go.
Eugene looking to go side by side once again, and take a look at behind them. Jonathan also starting to come into play as well. So Michael having a little bit of a rough time, and that's just allowed Eugene to get a bit into the lead. But
whoa! Someone just made a dive on the inside and lost out because of the dust and lost all traction. Was that Michael Stephen?
I think so.
Wow. Wowzers.
Michael Stephen paying dearly for that, trying to get a little bit hard on the brakes and losing out. Nicholas moving up a position there, saying, thank you very much, I will keep going. And definitely not what you want and how the race wants to be. You can see Eugene doing everything he can. Lost out a position to Jonathan. Jonathan slowly but surely worked his way up into the front.
Yeah, Eugene's lunch is going to go down very well because now he has less of a headache to worry about in the form of Michael Steven being all the way down and fourth. However, does not rule out Jonathan Petersa. Very, very experienced. Carter, do watch out for him and his ability to pull a rabbit out of a hat. But I wonder if Michael Steven will be able to come up from fourth. He very much is able to because they're in the same 0.2, 0.3 of a second, which you can very easily find within the course of a lap. But Petersa actually is stretching out his legs at the moment. Happier than most of the top four. Let's see what materializes as we go into the last 2.5 laps.
As you can see, they're really trying to push each other right up to the top and do everything they can as they try and power their way right up to the top. And you can see Jonathan really having a rough time here. Has got Eugene pressuring every single time, looking left and right, trying to figure out how is he going to get round. Eugene looks up the inside, just tried.
Over the shoulder. Oh, love tap. Oh my word, that was close. It looked like the front left of, is that Peters over there, Brits rather, sorry, in the 199 cart, tapping the rear right of Peterson, and he lost out as a result. Michael Steven then gains back his position in the podium. Michael Steven, oh, what a beautiful move. That was slow motion. For me, move of the day, easily. Because if you look at his carts was in a sliding mode. So it seems like he prefers an oversteering cart, or it's the fact that the grip over there is great. But the fact that he's able to keep the cart balanced, make the move stick was brilliant. And by doing so, he secured himself a second place. Let's see if he's able to get it back.
Well, Nicholas going in, giving a bit of room there, trying to figure out, okay, I've lost out. Now I've got to go back on the charge. And Michael Steven just really showing what he can do. But it's got Jonathan up in front, who's just trying to stretch his legs, trying to walk away from this train, and wants to get away from, seems to be the more experienced Michael Steven.
I love the irony in that he's trying to walk away. He better sprint. Michael Steven right behind him. You know, you just saw what he's able to do. I wonder if the last couple of corners, we've got 1.5 laps to go, or rather make that one, because they're coming down the home straight at the moment. Michael Steven might have a move lined up, although he's in an attack and defense mode because Farrell is right behind him. Then within 0.2 of a second of Michael Steven, Petersa is aware of the looming threat and the possible change in podium positions. Oh, Michael Steven, too much curb there. He loses out a bit, does he? Or was that intentional? DD2s are able to handle a lot more curb than your chain-driven classes that we've seen, the likes of Cinemax and Max. That might have been deliberate, but I doubt it.
He caught it a second time as well and looked over the shoulder just to see if Nicholas is going to be right onto the back of him, which he is. Nicholas now trying to work his way around. So a bit of an interesting there that the DD2s can take it just a little bit too much curve, but I think Michael Steven took a little bit too much for the DD2.
Yeah, couldn't keep up with Michael himself. But we're looking at a possible 1, 2, 3 in the form of Petersa, Steven, and Nick Farrell. If Michael Steven doesn't make the stick on the inside, no, he's not able to. Jonathan Petersa closing the door, wide shut, and it's a 1, 2, 3. Jonathan Petersa, Michael Steven, and Nick Farrell. Jonathan Petersa bring it home in first place. Michael Steven in second. Nick Farrell in third. Eugene Brits in fourth. Andrew Thomas down in fifth, rather. Erwin Stern in sixth place.
Yeah, look, our qualifying didn't go so well, so we started fourth. But I always knew it was going to be a bit of a fight up front. So I was a little bit patient, and after they all tussled and sorted their problems out, I came through and I managed to, win on road,
So how different is your next heats approach going to be?
Well, I'll probably approach it the same way, I think. I'm just taking race by race. I didn't quite have the pace, but as long as I'm putting myself in the right position, I'll take advantage of that.
But of course, Eugene being a rookie in the DD2 Masters class because he only qualified for it this year. And let's see how they break away from each other as they hum down the home straight. Is it a clean entry into turns 1 and 2? Very neat, seemingly very tidy, keeping it nice and neat.
Britt seems to have taken the lead away from Michael Steven. Now Steven having to put the pressure on.
Yes.
And take a look, Jonathan, that's Nicholas Verheul by the looks of it, who's really going at it.
I think that is Peter, so you were right.
That's
initially.
Jonathan Pieterse
Yeah.
that's lying
Yeah.
in third place, going and pushing as hard as he can. So glad to see it. Verheul in fourth place, going and pushing as hard as he can to get into the mix as they're starting to try break away from the chain. But you can see Michael Stephen trying to just take it easy, flow the cart round, but looks like Brits is going and sliding. He's getting quite aggressive. He wants to try and keep Michael Stephen at bay as much as possible.
Yeah, Eugene Brits is of the more aggressive breed of DD2 races. He definitely isn't going to hold back when he does have a chance. He does maximize on it, and I am seeing Georgia walking past. Georgia of the Paralyn team, who was involved in the earlier accident in the. Ooh, as Michael Stephen takes the lead back from Eugene Brits. Eugene Brits is not impressed with that, given the Italian gesture, the right hand and the shake of the head there. I was just seeing some of the younger carters involved in RG walking around and they're healthy. Just an update. But looking at Michael Stephen is gonna have to start sprinting now, and will want to gain the. I hope that knock didn't affect his setup in any way. Sometimes it does knock you off balance. A lot in situations where you do come together with someone, but he'll be able to shake it off and get back in the game. Very close racing between Verheul and Pieterse there. There's nothing in between them. There's Eugene Brits having a look.
I think Nicholas is starting to get frustrated. He was trying to get past. He shook his head, saying, I couldn't make that stick. And immediately, Brits is like, well, come on, open the door for me. And now Nicholas has lost that little bit of pace, got frustrated, and now has to deal with Eugene, who's trying everything to go late braking to get past him. So this is going to be an interesting run. We talked about the red mist playing a factor in a race, and that's right there is what happened. Nicholas got that red mist, shook his head in frustration, lost a little bit of ground, had to refocus to get up back to Jonathan, and that's just allowing Michael Stephen to start opening up that little bit more spacing in the front.
Absolutely, and you don't want to let a man like Michael Stephen relax and feel like he's got a chance to stretch his legs, because chances are you might not see him again. He might check out this early in the race if need be, but we saw that in terms of pace, DD2s are quite matched. It is a very competitive class. I would say it definitely is the premier of Rotax racing in the country. That is without a doubt. So hopefully we've still got a lot more conversations and questions to be asked of Michael Stephen from Eugene Brits, who's in fourth, Jonathan Pieterse in third, and Nick Verheul in second place at the moment. Ooh, Eugene Brits, very well done to gain his position again off Nick Verheul there, and then immediately gives the signal. I don't know if that was a thank you or what, but he was allowed past quite smoothly there.
Verheul went very inside into turn number one, went far left to try and hold it, and suddenly had Eugene just come around, get past him quite easily, and I think that was a little gesture saying, right, you learn from that, let's follow, let's try and catch the guys here, let's work together so we don't have the guys running away from us.
Absolutely. It turned into a bit of a revolving door for Verheul. They thought it was closing one, but it was actually opening it. We'll see if he's able to keep in the toe of Eugene Brits, who has Jonathan Pieterse in his sights in the white and pink helmet. At least the top of it is pink. Eugene Brits is not going to waste any time to get as close as possible to Pieterse, because he has the pace. He's not going to sit around and wait for Michael Stephen to actually get away. And as much as Brits is getting closer to Stephen, Brits is getting closer to Pieterse, Pieterse is getting closer to Stephen. So Michael Stephen has 2 charges on his 5-lap reign.
Absolutely, and it looks like Nicholas starting to fall way back at this point, coming out the train. He is looking around at his cart, so maybe something's playing a little bit funny on him, and he's having to struggle a little bit. Michael Stephen getting slowly drawn in. Pieterse doing everything possible to try and go on the defense. He knows Eugene's there. Eugene constantly pressuring. You can see always leaning on the corner of the cart, either extreme left or extreme right, just leaning in a lot, trying to force a mistake to happen. And Pieterse having to really work He is catching a lot of curb though, and I
Yeah,
don't
he
think
is.
that's going to come in handy for him.
Yeah, especially when you have someone within 0.1 of your pace, when you can hear them changing gears right behind you. You're sacrificing a lot of time in parts of the circuit like that. But it seems like Eugene Brits has fallen away slightly. The advantage he seemed to have in that chicane, in the aforementioned chicane, has gone away. Eugene Brits disappears in the last couple of corners. What just happened to you? Yeah, mechanical issue. I see him using his left hand to adjust something on his left hand side. Mechanical issue for Eugene Brits. Oh no. Oh jeez, that is disappointing. He just swung his right hand out of his shoulder to show he's coming off the track. Mechanical failure for him. Not sure what that is. It's on the left hand side, it seems. But Andrew Thomas will be relishing the opportunity to be in a podium position. I'm pretty sure he didn't anticipate something like that, given the pedigree of the guys ahead of them. But not to say that he's a slouch. But Carlo Gill behind Andrew Thomas, Tinahe Ncube in 5th place, and Aaron Stern in 6th, Alistair Minge in 7th. Everyone getting a +1 because of the unfortunate mechanical failure that Eugene Brits and Nick Verheul have suffered. Wow, how about that?
So now you have got Pearson doing everything he can to catch up onto the back of Stephen, trying to pull himself along. And with obviously the mechanical damage that comes into it, they're obviously going to try and replace what they can in the motor. But within spec of the rules, that comes into it, and they have to be checked out to make sure everything is across board. So hopefully they can get it sorted out for heat number 3. But the race is on. Michael Stephen and Pearce are duking it out, but it looks like Pearce made a bit of a mistake, lost out a lot of ground, and allowing Michael Stephen.
Oh,
there we go.
There's Nick. And now, fun fact, not funny, perhaps fun fact about Nick, he mechanics himself. He spanners and does all the work on his go-kart by himself, so he'll be the man to be taking care of whatever technical issue. We can see him not only on screen, but towards our right, because we have a bit of a view of the track there, looking as serene as you can possibly be in the circumstances. So he does have a bit of work to do when he comes back off the circuit and when he's helped by the marshals. But we do commence with the final lap, and Michael Stephen has proven why he's got multiple championships, not only in karting but on the main circuit, as he gallops over the curb. I saw him get hang time there.
Definitely. There's going over a curb, and there's trying to see if you can ramp it. And hopefully that hasn't lost too much time. Pitters are doing everything they can to try and make it up as they work their way around the circuit. Only a couple of more corners to go, but I do think if Michael Stephen can keep us all together right the way through, he's going to hold first place. Peterson will take second place, but Andrew Thomas, nice to see a new name coming onto the podium for heat number 2, taking that 3rd place. If he can hold back Carlo, and that's the difficulty, holding back Carlo to the end.
Absolutely. Andrew Thomas can't be fist bumping too soon, but as it stands, Michael Stephen takes the checkered flag. No surprise there. Jonathan Peterson in 2nd. I suppose a bit less of a battle than they expected, having 2 of their comrades, their brothers-in-arms, falling away because of technical issues. And as it stands, Michael Stephen will keep his position at the head of the championship, as well as the head and at the front of this race, having taken 1st place. Jonathan Peterson in 2nd, Andrew Thomas in 3rd, Carlo Gill in 4th, Tinahe Ncube in 5th, Erwin Stern in 6th place, Alistair Minge in 7th, and Calvin Ferreira in 8th. Bevan van Heerden in 9th, and the unfortunate casualties of mechanical failure, Eugene Brits as well as Nicholas Verheul, last place.
Yeah, second heat was a little bit better than the first heat. I think my pace was a little bit better. I thought we had to start 4th on the grid, but quickly got to 2nd. I think the 2nd lap got to the front, and from there on just put my head down, and the car just got better and better as the race went on, and managed to get a slight gap on Jono and bring it home. So hopefully we can do the same in the 3rd heat.
Yeah, look, I started from pole. I messed the start up a bit. I just couldn't keep the RPMs up. So Eugene and Michael got ahead. But from there, I just, pretty much watched the race again. And then as it played out, myself and Michael just drove away. But it was on the limits for the last 5-6 laps. We were absolutely on the limit. I made a mistake, and so Michael just got that gap to win.
You think you're going to pull out your hat for the last heat?
Yeah, I think I got enough pace to beat him. So yeah, we're gonna make a few changes for the last race, and yeah, take it to him.
This is quite a race for you. One of your best finishes. Tell us about it.
Yeah, I've never been in a camera before, so yeah, I guess it's pretty awesome. Yeah, very lucky.
Tell me how you got through to that third position.
Look, I didn't really.
When and where it happened.
I didn't really get through. I think it was Nick, who's obviously a CRG sort of compatriot of mine, so yeah, I saw him pull off, which is not so lacquer for him, not lacquer. And I think Eugene Brits also fell off, so I pretty much inherited it, but I'll take it, you know. Some say you got to be there to pick up the pieces, and we were, so
Cool.
happy with that.
So you're going to hope for some more happy
Yeah, well,
moments for the third heat, final heat.
yeah, I guess we'll just keep doing our best and see what happens, yeah.
Brings up the top 6 on the grid. Alistair Minge, Calvin Ferreira, Bev van Herda, Eugene Brits, of course, and Nicholas Verheil. Unfortunate DNFs in Heat 2. But they are around for Heat 3, and away they go. Let's see how it goes. Eugene Brits. Is that Eugene Brits? My eyes. Wow! Eugene Brits already getting into the aggressive side of things. Him and Jonathan Petersen. Nick Verheil losing out side by side for a moment with Petersen and Steven, but now he's in 4th. Steven in 3rd, Petersen in 2nd, and Eugene Brits out in the lead trying to stretch his legs quick as he can. Andrew Thomas already having lost out.
Eugene Brits really coming back fighting after having a bit of heartbreak earlier on. Michael Steven doing everything he can, lying in 3rd place at the moment. And Petersen just doing everything he can. Steven goes and collects Petersen, though. A bit of a hand gesture there saying, come on, we got to give each other space.
Exactly.
And, well, it's cost them both severely. You can see Michael Steven getting frustrated.
Yep.
This is the first time we've seen Michael Steven so frustrated, bumping and barging. Michael Steven going out towards the dirt, losing a position once again. What is going on? The cool, calm, and collected cucumber is no more at this point.
Cucumber's a pineapple right now. Oof. Wow. That was a bit spicy. I don't know. The body language there was a bit aggressive from Steven. I don't know if it looked like retaliation. Did it look like a thing where, hey, don't do that thing? That was a bit of Aussie-Bozzy. Started from Heat 1 and it's maturing now. Like fine wine. It's not maturing very finely, I must say. But nonetheless, drama and action for us. Hopefully you're enjoying some of the action coming to you from Benoni here at the Formula K circuit. Michael Steven gaining the ascendancy now on some of the carts. I think that is Andrew Thomas that he just went past. He's got Petersen in his sights in 3rd place. We'll see a sequel to the battle that has started from Heat 1 today. I wonder the kind of move Steven's going to be making on Petersen when he eventually gets to him.
I think at this moment he's got to keep it calm because Thomas was quite happy to move up that position when the chaos happened. So Steven's just got to take a deep breath, slow it down, get back into the focus. He needs to get in the rhythm. Petersen has had it happen. It's behind him. He's forgotten about it now, and he's just charging on. But Eugene Brits and Verheul busy duking it out at the front of the field. So they're having a bit of fun out there. Brits was very, very aggressive on the start, and it's paid off. Verheul as well, who had the breakdown, is now back in play. But you could see Petersen really working hard to try and keep Michael Steven at bay.
Oh, Michael Steven nearly going right over Petersen there. Whoa, look how close that. What is going on between these two? Wow. How about that? How they've managed to stay on the cart, it's honestly beyond me. Michael Steven tried to jump over Petersen. Failed to do that, tries to overtake him properly. Petersen squeezes him to the inside, but Michael Steven managed to make the move stick. Oh.
And Andrew Thomas just said, thank you very much, I'm getting the heck out of Dodge right now.
Exactly. I'm getting out the crossfire. I'm not getting shot. There goes Petersen giving Steven a nudge. Oof. I'm going to close my eyes and not see what's going to happen at the end of the main straight. Take over from here, Steve.
This is getting a bit hectic. As you can see, Petersen in tow, trying to pull himself along. Michael Steven just trying to keep it all together. And it is turning into a bit of a rough ride between these two. They were very calm come race number 2. And now all of a sudden, gloves are off. It's a boxing match as they make their way around the circuit. So Michael Steven is really pushing hard now with Peters that's, pushing from behind at this point.
As it stands, I mean, Michael Steven is the championship leader coming into the race today. Peter Sir behind him. So this finish would keep championship standings as they are. Michael Steven really has to just keep ahead of Peter Sir. So the aggression against Peter Sir does make sense, but the level of aggression, maybe. Is what's in question. Whoa, let's see if Steven can manage to tie and move together out ahead of Thomas. Thomas not aware of the locomotive that is coming behind him. Michael Steven, wow. Very, very aggressive. And, oh my goodness. Turn one. Turn one is going to look like, let's see. Steven makes it stick. What does Thomas say? What does Peter say? Now he's stuck behind Thomas. Thomas is the meat in a sandwich you don't want to be meat in.
Thomas is definitely in rough country right now. Between the championship leaders, for one. Between two guys that are, they having a little bit of a rough race at this point. And Thomas has just survived a couple of incidents. He moved up, and now I think at this point, what would be maybe a good move for Thomas is to let it all happen, let the guy past, and then follow the train through to catch up to the front. Because at the moment, the fights are slowing them down. So as soon as Peter gets closer, I think just open the door a little bit, let him go, follow the toe, and get around. Because they're going to make mistakes.
I mean, it seemed like there was a door for Nick to actually go through, but the angle of Britz's car just didn't allow. You could see that the kind of momentum he would have going to the bottom of the hill there would close the door for Nick. So there's no point in even trying the move. Oh, Nick and Eugene side by side. How does this end? Eugene will never let you get past like that. No ways.
Was nearly made it stick. Nicholas tried looking on the inside and decided this might end up with both our carts getting a bit of a knock. Rather hang back, gets in the toe, literally nose to tail, and now trying to go a little bit around the outside. Will he be going to the inside? Tries, but Eugene making it stick as they fight their way through.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful stuff. A lot of respect between these two karters. You can see it. Absolutely beautiful. We've got 2 laps to go, or 1.5 to be exact. Eugene still keeps the lead from Nick Verheil.
Nick doing everything he can to try and figure out how is he going to get past Eugene. Very defensive though. You can see going and holding the line, trying to put his cart in the middle of the circuit so he doesn't have the momentum from Nicholas chasing him down. Nicholas trying to go on the outside as he looks to try carry the momentum through, does so side by side once again, but Eugene does have the advantage, does go out wide, closes the door side by side down the hill.
What nice racing.
Oh, that's
nice racing.
It's a bit difficult to do, going down the hill to go side by side, so Verheil had to back out there, otherwise it was going to end in tears.
Oh wow, what beautiful racing. It's incredible. I think you can kind of detect the kind of relationship they have off the track as well. To be able to have that much trust in Eugene Britz not to completely for Eugene not to completely shut the door on Nick and put him into a curb, it speaks volumes about the professional standing that they have as karters.
Here we go, side by side once again. Who's going to be later on the brakes? Eugene trying to go and do everything he can. Nicholas gets ahead. Eugene now looking to go side by side once again. Nicholas still managing to hold out that first place. Eugene dives up on the inside and retaking the position. Nicholas now trying to go on the outside, carrying the momentum. Cuts back though, goes up on the inside. Will he be able to try make a move?
Eugene getting a bit of dust defending there. Does it hurt him?
And this is turning into a bit of a battle. Nicholas getting desperate at this point. Final lap down the hill. Who is it going to be? Eugene trying to keep it all together. 1 corner to go. Will Eugene be able to hold it? Nicholas in tow. Eugene putting his head down and taking the checkered flag.
Wow.
Nicholas getting a 2nd place. How close racing can you get?
Take a bow, Eugene. Take a bow, Nick Verheil. Brilliant racing, brilliant respect. And our top 3 finishes as Eugene Brits, Nick Verheil, Michael Steven, Andrew Thomas, Jonathan Petersen in 5th place, Carlo Gill in 6th, Erwin Stern in 7th, Tina Ngube in 8th. 9th place goes to Alice Domingue, Calvin Ferreira, and Bev Van Heer to wrap up the top 11.
Yeah, so final race super tight between me and Nick. He had a lot of pace when we were in front, and I wasn't going to let him drive away once he got past, so just had to fight him back and managed to get the win by, I think, almost nothing over the line. So
It's a really tough day today. Boys are pedaling today. Been struggling the whole day fighting the kart and just trying to find that sweet setup. The second heat we made a change. We thought on the first lap I was like, we made the change, it's going to work. We didn't tighten something properly and it came loose. It was soul destroying. But yeah, when we came back after that, same setup as we tried, knew it was going to be fast, and yeah, awesome racing against Eugene. Long time buddy of mine, and such a privilege to race guys like this. Really happy.
Yeah, obviously the 30 didn't go quite according to plan. Had a bit, quite a big tussle in the beginning with Jono. Felt he was just a little bit defensive, and I had a couple of goes, and yeah, it was. I lost the gap to the lead from there, but once I got through, felt I had good pace. I know Nick and Eugene tussled a little bit at the end, and I was coming. But congrats! I don't even know who won. I think it was Eugene and Nick, second. But they did a great race. I had a great weekend, and looking forward to the next one.